Hello, esteemed academic support staff, leaders, and friends. My name is Kaylee. If we've never met, I manage half of the peer tutor team, and I used to be the resource person before Amy Pearman kindly stepped in and made this magical new thing called the Academic Resource Center, or ARC, that is far superior to our Bitly sheet that is going away on Monday. You will be locked out. I'm so sorry, but also you're welcome. And here's why, and here's how. I'm going to share my screen and show you what you will be doing instead. RE resources, now that the Bitlies are going to be no longer. So come with me. And here we are. So on our SharePoint site, on both the peer tutor page, there's a button here for the staff facing bit links. And also on our home page, staff facing resource links. Probably should have titled them the same thing, but here we are. And this is all the stuff that faces you. So how to use the classroom from the admin end, a link to the source, referring people to the OIC, job aids for workday, stuff like that. So that is all still here for you because it wouldn't live on the ARC. That's a student-facing place, so it doesn't make sense. So those things exist now. First thing Monday morning, I will be making the Bitly sheet no longer accessible to you. So rather than using it, you will be using the Academic Resource Center, or the ARC, which is accessible right now from Brightspace in our portal under resources. It will go now directly to the ARC, which looks like this. Well, let me just go to the homepage. Students can search, students can access going back to the portal and access workshops, office hours, tutoring, coaching. And really the modeling now is going to be for you to show students how to get to this and tell them what to search for, or suggest what they should search for, rather than saying, here's a link to the MLA sample paper. Here's a link to a video on the research question. Here's a link to mean, median, and mode. They can look those things up and they will appear because this search actually functions. So that is the first modeling thing that we get to do. And the reason why that is so much more superior than the bit links is we're modeling for students to independently find their own stuff. And when they do so, I'll go for the Chicago sample paper because I was just there. All I have to do is Chicago and I get several results. These related resources are such a huge deal too, because I did my best over the years to make certain sources connect to each other, but this really intuitively just does it. So the computers are on our side with that. If I choose the sample paper, I can see all the other sample papers. I can jump over to the style guide at the library, and there's a bunch of other tags I can go through. So here's what the Chicago paper page looks like now. You see, I just updated it today, Friday the 25th. And students can download a PDF or they can look at it in an embedded view, which is really nice. And that, my friends, is ADA compliant. So not only are the Bitlies a little more hand-holdy for us to pass those out rather than showing folks how to search, this is also far more ADA compliant than a Bitly is. So I can change the reading order, I can do accessibility checks on the documents we make, put captions on videos, etc. But the folks who need screen readers, people with low vision, etc., this is a lot more functional for them, and that's probably the number one reason why it's so much more superior than the Bitly sheet, which was very overwhelming. So we're modeling. Related resources are here. And using these direct ARC links with readable text in your follow-up emails is actually far more accessible than using Bitlies as well. So I'm going to show you how we intend for you to do that. And by we, I mean leaders, Amy, her beautiful student worker, Angelica, who built all this out for you. So here's what I'm thinking. You may or may not use the signatures tool in Outlook. Let me just make this big. And this is how you can store emails that you frequently send with resources that you frequently share with students. And it saves you a lot of time. So if you don't use it yet, please do. And when you click on a new message, click on signatures, it opens your signatures window. And I've started to make myself a history signature. So for history and research resources. And here's what I'm talking about. In the past, and I did this as a coach, I would say, here's the history playlist, and then I would just plop the bit link in. For screen readers, that compliance is not happening because it will read the https:// the screen reader will read the link to them rather than this word history playlist. How did I make that? It's pretty straightforward, and if you know what I'm doing. So these are links directly from ARC. And I'm going to take Chicago sample paper, right click, insert a link, put the link in there. And now folks who do use screen readers and even people who do not, this is universal design at its finest. So the email looks nice and clean. I have done this step for them where I am, if you insist, if you really like to do that step for the student and say, I want them to have this research question video and not have to go search for it. Though if they did search for it, they'd find it immediately. Looks like that. Save that, and then it's there. So when you write your email to your friend after a session, this is ready to go for you. And what I used to do with my signatures was, if these three things are something that I send in tandem all the time, but this time I don't need to give them the sample paper, you just take that out. Put the student's name in, be nice and personal. Let's call her Barbara. And send, and off we go. So that's the idea. And I really hope that using the Academic Resource Center, or ARC Rainbow, is really fruitful for you and for you and your students. If you have stored bit links to use for these quick send outs, say at the end of a one-to-many, you like to share bit links to things, you can. But my personal preference in the long run is that you move toward sending students to the ARC, telling them what to search for. Thanks for coming to this one-to-many on research. You can visit our resource area, our ARC, our resource center, and search for research for more resources. So these are the things that are going to make the students more independent. They're going to be able to access things much more easily. And it's a beautiful thing. So without further ado, on Monday, when you don't have access to that anymore, I hope my little face and my explanation has soothed you. If not, if you have any questions, reach out to myself or Amy and we can help you best use this tool. It will be a learning curve. It will be a change in the long run. It's going to be gorgeous. So have a great weekend if you see this Friday. And thank you so much for all you do. Bye-bye.